Good morning. Happy Sunday. How are you?
Hey, Tiffany. Happy Sunday. Happy hot Sunday.
Happy
It's
hot
very
Sunday.
hot.
That's right. So, should we start now? I would like to say that I'm Tiffany Rothman. Welcome to 902 Filter 90211 with my amazing and wonderful co-host Chris Sloan.
It's a hot Sunday, Tiffany,
Oh
here
boy,
in the
it's so
Los
hot.
Angeles
It's
area.
sweating and everything. It's just way too hot. And
We hit like 98
90
degrees
or something.
yesterday.
Yes.
98.
Well, in the East Coast, in Boston, it was like over 100 degrees. And people were
With
complaining like
humidity.
crazy. Yep. Oh dear, with humidity. Oh my goodness.
See, that's the thing about the East Coast, because I spent many years in New York. You get the humidity too, so it's kind of like being in a sauna.
No, no,
I'd rather
thank
the
you.
dry heat.
No, thank you. So we skipped 2 weeks because of all the technicality problems, and now I want to get back with you about we were talking about strip clubs, burlesque,
Strip clubs, burlesque, fetishes. We were talking about a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah, so I told you that I think there's a gentleman club near where I live in North Hollywood. We should really take a look at it.
And you and I were talking about taking a look at it to see if we could reopen it. And my idea was turning it into a fetishes type strip club,
fetishes stuff,
where you get to fulfill your fetishes at this club.
Exactly.
I think it would be lined up around the corner to get in. There's a lot of fetishes out there, and I would like to explore all those. Not me personally. I'll be watching it, but I would like to be able to fulfill people's fetish fantasies.
Yes, but I'm wondering if we call the play fetishes lounge, will people afraid?
I like it.
Yeah, but will people afraid to come?
No, because they need to know that that's where they're going to go for their fetish, and why not call it fetishes lounge? Why not? I mean, people need to know that's where they're going to go for the fetish. The question then becomes, what kind of fetishes are we going to have offered? And then, you know how every night's like a special night, like ladies' night, this night, that night, Taco Tuesday. Each day will have its own fetish theme. Does that make sense?
Yes, that's a lot every day. I mean, do we have to open every day? Or can we just open from first day to Sunday?
We could do whatever we want, Tiffany, because we'll be the owners. So we could do whatever we want. We could open 1 day a week, 5 days a week, you name it. We'll be the owners.
But the problem is, how will we get enough people to come in to pay to cover the rent and the expense?
There's just a lot of people out there that like strip type clubs, but because this is going to be a fetish club, I think we'll get a great mix of both female and male, right? I believe that if we offer them the ability to explore that, I think we'll pack the place.
Oh, wow.
I think we'll have to, every location based on size has an occupancy limit. We're going to have to stop people from coming in because of occupancy limits, because people are going to be coming in like, yeah, it's Fetish Friday. I want to come in, and I want to, do whatever it is. I mean, so let's talk about different fetishes today. What's one fetish you think would come to your mind?
I don't know. What's come to your mind?
Well, there's some basic stuff like foot fetishes, right? So it could be Foot Fetish Friday, where you come in and as an individual, we'll line 10 people up, men and women, and you get to like suck on and lick 10 people's big toes, right? Or, something like that. So foot fetishes, it's pretty, I'll say it's clean because it's not too dirty, but physically it could be dirty because some people don't take care of their toes.
Right, so we make sure they have a manicure first.
Unless the people want a dirty foot fetish.
Oh, God.
In other words, there could be people that want a dirty foot with dirty toenails and toe jam and all that funky stuff. And then we'll have to make sure that people don't clean their feet. So it depends on the type of foot they want. What do you think?
How about stylish and fashionable fetish? And that they can have like feet with the, wearing very nice stiletto shoes or, any kind of fancy shoes.
That sounds very sexy.
That's made out of candy.
Oh, and you eat the shoes off of their feet.
Just like some kind of candy made
like a gummy?
sugar cane, yes, or something like just pull over the piece of plastic.
Well, let's not stop at shoes. Let's do underwear too, and bras and everything. I mean, let's eat it all off. But I do like that idea of a very beautiful foot in a stiletto heel that the man could eat the stiletto literally off the woman's foot.
Yes.
Now, that sounds pretty darn sexy to me.
Yep.
I'm thinking like a black stiletto made of black licorice.
Oh, yeah. Black licorice is so delicious.
So you got to now don't forget, because it's black licorice, you have to like anise. Not to be confused with anus, which we could have an anus fetish night.
Oh, God.
And that's a whole other topic. But I think we're on to something is where we're getting at. So we have foot fetish.
How about hand fetish? Fingernails. Long fingernails made out of candies.
And then, so what would people do with a finger fetish? Would they have the fingers rubbing up and down their body? Would they be licking?
They would lick
fingers?
it. They would lick the fingernail like this long. They would lick it off.
Okay. They would lick the fingernail. So it could be made out of some kind of sugar substitute. Some kind of cellulose or something with sugar. I don't know. And then they could lick the fingers off. So this is pretty basic stuff. We got feet. We got fingers. The question becomes, how dirty do we get?
I don't know. I'd rather not. Yeah, how dirty do you want to get? But what about your idea? Bathtub fetishes.
Bathtub fetishes could be great. So what we can do is we can have a huge bathtub on stage where people get to go and take a bath with somebody in front of people. Because part of some of the allure of fetishes is to have an audience watching you. Right?
Exactly. And can the bathtub be clear, like a clear crystal bathtub?
Absolutely. I wouldn't have it any other way. And
champagne.
We would have
champagne bathtub.
Jello.
How about
Jello? We'd have a bathtub full of Jello.
Oh, wow.
Or pudding.
And whipped
Chocolate
cream.
pudding. And whipped cream and cherries. Lots of cherries. And it could be pop your cherry night or something like that.
I see. And you know what? Dita Von Tees, her things, is a champagne glass. And she would get in there and she would take a bath in there. Have you seen her doing it in any of her performances?
You know, I didn't see that video yet. So when you and I started to talk about Dita Von Teese, I did not really know who she was. And when I started to watch her
Chris,
videos,
how can you not know who she was?
I was impressed. Let's share with our viewers exactly what burlesque really is and what it isn't. If you want to kind of go down that path.
Well, first of all, burlesque, they're a very well-trained dancer. And they have to be very physically strong. And they have to be into lingerie. That's how I see it.
I love lingerie. I love people in shape. I love lingerie. I love great dancing. I agree. When I watched some of her videos, you're right. There's art to it. There's an actual art and skill to it. It was beautiful and sexual, but sensuous. And it's not pornography, at least in my mind. Now, don't get me wrong. Pornographers are very skilled people. They can do some very, very interesting things. But burlesque is different. It's got a different speed and intensity. I I would say the intensity is slower, consistent, erotic,
sensual.
but it doesn't go past a certain line. How do they know what line not to cross?
It's
What are your
illegal
thoughts?
because Dita Von Teese is illegal to expose. So what she did, she made some kind of design. She put them over the nipples.
Can you take them off?
Yeah, it like thicker. She put them over the nipples,
So they're like what they would call pasties in strip clubs.
exactly.
Strip clubs that they couldn't expose their nipple, they would put these little things on
And-
pasties.
And then when she performed, this is really, really gorgeous, like costume. Like, I don't know what you call it. Of course, it's like strapless, but it's like a corset and skirt, something, and she slowly would take them off. And she would climb up the stair to her bathtub with shape in a glass, in a champagne glass. And she would get in it.
So she's got jet black hair, red lipstick, very, very white, pale skin. So she's kind of got a bit of a goth look to her, which is sexy as heck. Sexy
Right.
as hell.
Yep,
Sexy
yep.
as hell. She's dancing. She's got like beautiful Victoria's Secret type lingerie on.
But with
She
crystal,
just-
yes, with crystal. She's a lingerie designer, so it's not Victoria. Her stuff are much more expensive, and they higher quality. But I think they meant to last.
Say that again?
I think her lingerie stuff is much more expensive, and the quality probably is a lot higher because they meant to last. You know, lingerie they're not supposed to meant to last. They're supposed to rip it off, and eventually that's it.
Well, don't forget, in our club, you're going to eat it off.
That's
So
true.
if we ever got Dita to perform at Fetish's Lounge, we would have to tell her she would have to wear edible clothing.
That's
And
not going to happen.
It's
It's
being one of the
illegal.
co-owners.
It's illegal to touch the client, Chris.
Well, I'm not going to touch the client. I'm just going to eat her clothes.
Right, but unless you are a performer, the performers yourself,
I'll perform. All right, then I'll perform.
then you can
How about we'll have Dita and the Slone and Dita show, and
Yeah.
I'll eat her clothes.
eat.
Maybe it'll be a first. I don't know if it's ever been done before.
I don't think so.
So going back to burlesque, so really, then the line that they cannot cross is showing nudity, complete
Exactly.
frontal nudity.
That's for the dancer. Secondly, the client not really allowed to touch them.
Okay. So what you're saying is, in our club, the clients that come in won't be able to touch any of our performers.
No, but like put it this way: if the performer wear the long finger candy nails,
Yeah.
they can pass it. They can pass it down
So
to the clients.
They could pass. So the client could have a keepsake to take with them.
Oh, that's candy. Oh, we can sell them. If we want to make more money, since we don't want to work too much, open it like 4 nights a week only. And
Okay.
each team, let's say we have a shoe fetish. If shoe made out of candy, we should have little shoe that duplicate the appearance of the shoe that the burlesquer is wearing on
Okay.
stage, and we would pass it out. They can buy it. They can buy
Okay.
it. They can lick it, eat it. Why? The burlesque dancer is performing on stage.
Interesting.
See that's
Okay.
that way we can sell more products.
Well, that's good. That means more money.
Exactly. So we
So
only want to
how
open
did
it.
you
What?
how did you get introduced to burlesque? How did you come across it?
Okay, I came across Dita one time. Remember, I told you how I used to be a school psychologist in New York City for many, many years. And we had to go to
I
tons
remember.
of meetings. And one time we had to go to this meeting. And the funny thing, we were sitting in the auditorium and we were waiting for a speaker. We wait and wait. Somebody passed me a magazine. And I opened it up. And here it was, Dita Von Teese and Marilyn Mason and how their wedding pictures. And I look at her picture. I say, gee, this woman has a lot of taste. Because she's very unique. Her taste, like you said, she's kind of gothic and she stood out, she stands out. And I was like, very interesting. So when I saw her, I went home, I started doing research on her.
And that's how you found out about Dita Von Teese.
Yep. Yeah, but she's just like the clothes, even the clothes she wear, because at wedding, everybody wear white and light blue or this and that. This was her first wedding. She wear a dark purple dress.
I love dark purple. And as you mentioned, at the time, she married Marilyn Manson, the musician.
Right. And
it was very goth looking.
Yes. And so their dining room, I think the wedding, the reception was very small and intimate. And she decorated herself very gothically. The tablecloth may be in dark purple or navy blue. And the room itself is beautifully decorated, but it's in a very gothic sense. I mean, it's not my style, but I appreciate her own individual taste.
It's very unique,
Mm-hmm.
and I was very impressed. When you told me who she was and I started to research, I was like, wow, this is definitely art. It's different. I heard of burlesque as a kid, and as a kid growing up in the 70s, when you thought burlesque, you thought 1930s, 1940s, these black and white videos of women dancing around in their underwear and at speakeasies and stuff like that, and it looked kind of dirty, not sexual, but just it kind of was like, it gave me the allure that burlesque was like just kind of this dirty, dark thing in the closet. But when I saw Dita,
Mm-hmm.
it was very artistic.
Oh yes.
It was kind of it was beautiful, and that was the backdrop. And all it was then was taking a woman in very seductive type clothing, dancing and moving around with that backdrop. And to me, that was like impressive. So it changed my perception of what burlesque is. And then again, as a young male growing up, you kind of heard about burlesque and you're like, well, what's the difference between burlesque and pornography? But burlesque is an art form. Now, I don't want to offend any pornographers that their work is an art. I'm not saying it's not. What I'm saying is that burlesque is different.
Exactly. You have to be a well-trained dancer. Because her fantasy was she wanted to be a ballerina, and you know how difficult that is to become an on point ballerina.
When you look at dancers and you look at ballerina experts, like that is one difficult, competitive, artistic performance that you have to get your body to do things that it's really not meant to do. In my opinion, my body's not meant to do that. And I just don't understand how they do it. And I get it. They train hours and hours and years, but you could see that she's very skilled and talented. I would love, Tiffany, officially to say I would love to have Dita on our show. So George, our producer right now, George, this is your ability to throw in Dita's picture or maybe a quick video clip, and our official shout out to Dita Von Teese that Dita, we love your work, and we would absolutely love to have you on our show as a guest to talk about your artwork. And who knows, maybe someday if we do open up Fetishes Lounge, you will be there as a guest.
That would be wonderful.
So, we're getting close to the election. You know that, don't you?
Oh my goodness.
The election will be right around the corner. First of all, this is the first show for the summer. This is our summer solstice show because our last show we had was in spring. So happy summer, Tiffany.
Happy summer.
So here we are. We're end of June. coming up on the July 4th holiday, and before you know it, it's going to be fall, and the election season is going to be in
Oh
full
dear. Swing, full swing.
full swing,
Oh
right?
dear, yeah.
Full something. Full. It's going to be full of a lot of stuff. But anyway, uh, yeah. Are you concerned at this point about where the election's going? Because we know who the two final candidates are, and we know what's
Yes,
happening, and
yes, yes, I am
it's just
very
going back and
concerned.
forth. It's
Yep.
going back and forth full force. It's only going to get more intense.
Hmm.
So, what are you thinking?
I don't want to think about it. Too scary.
Do you think it will impact negatively or positively the economy?
Oh boy, let pray positively, especially in our industry.
So, will it impact?
I don't know. I have no idea. It's just like I'm too scared to think, too scared to look. I just don't know what to think. How about
Okay.
you?
Well, I think it's going to. I don't think it's going to negatively impact it. I think our economy is really strong. The Dow Jones is
Oh,
close
okay.
again to 40,000, and
Oh, really,
I think
guys?
depending. Yeah, I mean we're the economy on paper is still looking good. Um, there's some shifts with the housing market, and interest rates are still kind of at times speculative, but I
Ah,
think
interest
overall,
rate in Dow Jones. Ah.
don't get bored now, Tiffany. Don't get bored on me. But no, I think it's going to be okay. I think the question will become, depending on who is elected, we're going to see recourse from the people as usual. So the economy is going to be fine. The question is, are we going to have people out there, you know, exercising their right to speech and assembly, but sometimes it goes past the limits and it gets violent. So my thought is the economy is going to be fine, everybody. Just if you do go out and exercise your
Oh.
right of speech and assembly, just keep it clean,
Keep
no
it minimal,
violence.
keep it fair, keep it kind.
Yeah, keep it kind, but don't cross the line, because that to me is what destroys
Hmm. Yeah.
what we've worked hard for hundreds of years here in the US, is that I would like to think, could be humane about what we do here. That's what separates this country from many countries. So, if you're not happy with the outcome when it hits, that's fine. You can tell people why you're not happy, and you could assemble and talk about it, but don't cross the line where it turns into more than what it should be.
Oh boy. Yeah.
All right, enough of that. That's
And
my political
no,
corner.
it's not even political. What amazed me is how some people that they tend to get discriminated the most by others. They would go out and protest and discriminate against other people. And I was like, that's pretty amazing. But I guess that's unusually how it is.
Um, sometimes, sometimes. Okay, let's change the subject. We lost this past week a very well-known
Oh,
actor,
yeah.
very famous, very talented, Donald
Mm,
Sutherland, who passed away this past week, 88 years
mm,
old. So
mm.
he lived a great life. That's above the average age expectancy. Um, and it was kind of sad. I grew up watching a lot of his movies.
That's great. Yes, but well, at least he's not his young man, a young person. Like at least he's not in his 40, 50, and 60.
No, absolutely not. Um, I mean, look at Matthew Perry, right?
Hmm.
Uh, so compared to Matthew Perry, no, he lived a good life.
Yes, he did.
And everybody knows his son, Kiefer. Sutherland, who's a phenomenal actor as well.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And, so our prayers are with Kiefer and his father and his family.
Yeah. Oh, his cousin, relative. Canadian.
And,
He's Canadian,
as
yeah.
I get older, Tiffany, every year that goes by, there's more and more people that pass, and
Yes.
eventually more and more people that I know personally.
Oh,
And that
yes.
just kind of reminds us of our mortality,
Yeah.
And as we get older, more and more people that we know of personally or just know who they are going to pass away. So does that bother you as
Yes.
every year clicks away?
Yes, very much so. Like the last time my cousin, this is back until 2018, but not until around November, right before her birthday, she passed from cancer. And I was praying that she would live because I keep saying to myself, like, God cannot be that cruel to me. That's why I said to myself, they wouldn't take, God wouldn't take her away from me. But she did pass. And that was very, very difficult.
Yeah. And, I was thinking about this the other day. Does God really take people away from us?
No, I think it's
I
time for her to go. Usually, it just that was my desperate attempt to hang on to her because she was my best friend and one of the greatest love of my life, and I just didn't want to lose her because I thought I was always going to grow old with her, and I thought about that the other day, and just it's like around 9 years before that, I lost another cousin too. And that's the one. This one is she's like around 7 months older than me, and the one who passed in 2018 was a couple of years younger than me. And those two were the only two. Well, not were the only two, but I always thought I would grow old with them and would do things with them when I get older. You know what I mean?
And they were both your cousin?
They were both my cousin. We all related on our maternal side. We related to each other.
And what were their names?
One is her nickname is Lulu, and the other one is Sylvie.
And who passed away first?
Lulu.
And how old was Lulu when she passed?
46, almost 47. Like a few weeks before she turned 47. So that was very young.
And how did you deal with that?
It's just I was in shock. I couldn't. I don't know. I don't know how I deal with it. It was very, very sad.
Yeah, we all deal with death and passing of people differently.
Yeah.
Would you say that you withdraw more within yourself when that happens, or do you become more
I try not
extroverted?
to. I try not to withdraw because I know that's not really healthy. So I talk about it when I say when people ask, I say like I'm not feeling too great because I just lost someone. But in between that, I lost my aunt who was a singer. She was a lot older than them, but it was still difficult. But I could understand because she was somewhat older than them. So that's like around 2014. So her, at least I know that she's going to go first, but I know that's not necessarily true. When people go, it's time for them to go. It doesn't matter how old they are.
How often do you think about them?
Often enough. Very often.
But that's a good thing. You have the good memories.
Yes. Yes, I do.
And they're always with you.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing is, when Lulu died, it was like around 9 months before that, my paternal cousin passed. But at least her, I have 2 years to say goodbye. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
knew it was coming, but with Lulu, it was like all of a sudden. When I say, when my other cousin told me, oh, she died. I said, who? She died on Wednesday. And the funny thing is, I know that the day that she died, the night before that, I was in my dance class and I got very emotional. I just feel like something strange coming over me. And I said to myself, am I growing spiritually, growing artistically, because I was in my dance class and I was enjoying it, and all of a sudden I just feel really strange. And turned out that the next morning, she passed.
So do you believe you actually sensed it? Is that what you
Yeah,
feel?
I felt I sensed it, but I didn't know what it was.
And we hear about that a lot in life. People sense things, right? They
Right, but
sense when something is going to happen.
I didn't expect it to be, my cousin who was healthier than I am. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think what I've learned from death is you just don't know. It could be unexpected, it could be expected, and there's no answers truly as far as why, other than, yeah, if somebody's in a car accident, we get it. If somebody has a disease, we get it. But why do certain people get a disease at a certain age? Why does somebody get in a car accident? It's a law of average. I think I think there's answers we'll never have until maybe we cross over and we get all the answers. And that's kind of what sometimes keeps me going is I want to get the answers. I want to see eventually what's on that other side. And maybe I'll have all the answers, maybe I won't. As long as I'm at rest, I'll be okay. Does that make sense? Because if I'm going to be
Yes.
going on the other side and I have to work, like what if I have to flip burgers on the other side? Like what if they say, Chris, you're not talented enough to do anything but flip burgers?
Hey, that's an
So,
art too. When you flip, you have to flip it a certain way.
well, I can't even do that. I mean, that's my point is like, what if I'm on the other side and they're like, you know what, Chris, you, you're going to flip burgers for everybody and make fries. And what if that's my eternity? I don't know if I'm willing to handle that. What
But
about you? What do you
yeah,
think you would do on the other side? Would you be dancing, entertaining?
I certainly hope so. Because that time you don't live in your body, so hopefully I will be a lot healthier, so I can dance endlessly.
So what if when you're on the other side, your number one talent is what you're going to be doing on the other side for eternity? Now, for me, if that's the case, um, I'll be very embarrassed.
Why?
Well, I'd rather not say. What about you?
What about me? What can I do?
Well, if
Can
you
I
end up
learn?
performing your number one talent for eternity on the other side, are you going to be happy about that?
Depends what it is.
Well, whatever your number one talent is, you know,
Oh, that can be scandalous too.
it could be.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe there's something about Tiffany I don't know. Um, Now, what if you have to work on your weakness for eternity? And you go to the other side and they're like, Tiffany, yeah, welcome, welcome. By the way, for eternity, you're going to be working on your weaknesses in
Which is
life.
singing, and I would love to. I would
Okay.
say yes. I would love to.
Really? Wow. Well, that's exciting then. Like you get to spend eternity doing something that you really like, but you're just not good at. So
Yes.
you can get better at it.
Yes, but notice that when we out of our body, we our what you call them, our energy and our force, it's endless. Like that means I could be stronger. I don't have to worry about breathing in, breathing out, get tired from doing this. You can just do it endlessly.
Could be exciting. There's a lot of things I'm not good at, so who knows what they're going to pick for me if that's the case because I'm really not good at a lot of things. So, yeah, that'll be interesting. I mean, yeah, who knows? Or maybe there is nothing as far as your skills when you get to the other side. Maybe it's like, Tiffany, welcome. We've been waiting for you. Thanks for coming. You're here for eternity. All you're going to do is just relax and have fun and chill out and maybe eat some grapes and drink some wine. And that's it. You're just going to be with God and be with Jesus and for the rest of eternity. What do you think?
That would be interesting, but that could be boring too.
Boring.
Think
I think
about it.
relaxation for me. I think I'm ready for that relaxation. I think sometimes life can get pretty intense,
Right, but
and the
after
idea of
two
a
weeks, after 2 weeks, a month, it can be like, ah.
what you're saying is you'll start to get rowdy and you're going to get kicked out.
Probably.
Okay, all right. Well, where's Tiffany at, by the way? Oh, you didn't hear her. Oh, yeah. They asked her to leave. Really? What happened? Well, after about 2 weeks, she started to get bored and she started to do some things, and
You're like, just
they
go,
told her to leave.
I think I'm going to do something now. Let's see, what can I do now? Do this, do that, and I say, people say, please leave.
So let's talk about food quick. I was over your house as a guest a few weeks ago, and thank you so much for having me. It was the first time I was at your home, and you cooked me a phenomenal meal.
You mean the
Phenomenal. Can you
vegetarian
tell everybody?
chili? Vegetarian
Yes.
chili?
Tell.
What?
And you made the best. It was probably the best asparagus I ever had.
The asparagus, really easy,
Yeah. You just boiled it, right?
right? And you mix it with olive oil because that's healthy, and you add salt and pepper, and maybe a
So
little
how
bit of
long do you
butter.
boil it?
Oh, it depends how much it is. When the water boils, you throw it in, and then when it starts to boil, you throw the tip. You know, the tip is very softer. You throw it in, and you shut off the water, and you leave it there for a few minutes, and the water subsides, and everything is cooked.
So you don't keep the heat on while you're cooking it. Once the water boils, you
No,
turn it off and
once
you put the asparagus in.
no, the rest of the asparagus. Once the water boils, you put the asparagus in for a while, or you leave it in there until it's boiled. But when it's boiled, it's really like boiling. The tip of it, you put it in. And once you put the
So
tip
you
in,
put the tip in last.
last, yes, because it's soft. Once you put the tip in, and you shut off the water, and you keep it covered so it's cooked by itself.
And what's in the vegetarian chili?
Oh, it's all kind of things, carrot, different kind of beans. I put a little tomato. It's vegetarian chili. It's easy. Yeah, vegetarian chili in a slow cook. I think I make.
It was phenomenal. It had just enough spice. It had a good kick, but it didn't go over the edge. So it did make me want to have a drink because it was spicy, but the spice was just right.
The spice. It was very spicy. I
It was just
actually
right.
what I did at first. Yeah, this is a see the picture.
Okay. Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah, that's my slow crock pot. I put like onion, onion, garlic, black and red bean, carrot, tomato, celery, spice,
Was there
and
rice?
the rice I made separate. The rice
It
is
was
in the rice
phenomenal.
cooker. The cooker. What happened was I add extra spice, and at first it was really, really spicy, and I said, no, I don't think this is right. So what I did is I reduced the spice by adding supposedly sugar, but I don't use regular sugar. I use the healthy kind, not sweetener. It's a completely different different kind of sweet. I bought that back like 50 pounds back, and I carry it. I moved it from New York to here, so I should add like a half a cup into it, so it reduced the spice.
Well,
It
it was
was really
phenomenal, and I just want to thank you for one having me over your house and got to meet your husband and
you
had
met him before.
phenomenal.
You met him before
Well, but
last
I got to
season.
meet him at his house. It's a little different there, and
So next
we
time you come
watched a
over,
movie.
yeah, next time you come over, I make it I make a vegetarian chili or some other vegetarian food again.
I would love to. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm there. If you want to cook, I'm there. We
Yes.
watched a Marilyn Monroe movie, one of her first movies. It
Oh,
was
yes.
fantastic. And
Yes.
it was about burlesque.
Yep. Yep. But it was different kind of the last day. It's really pretty. It's more like to me that show is the chorus girl is more like uh, a performance, a regular performance because look the way they did it. It's different. It's very nice, but it's not at racy at the Dita Von Teese burlesque.
No, it was a little bit more watered down, but what I liked about the movie was I looked it up. It was Marilyn Monroe's third movie. Okay. And
Yes,
what was the title of the movie?
the chorus girls, the chorus girls, something like that.
And what I liked about it was you could tell it was before people really knew who Marilyn Monroe was. She just seemed like a different person. And I don't mean just because she was playing a character. She just seemed different. She didn't have the mole. That was interesting, seeing her without the mole.
And also remember the movie I told you about? It called Don't Bother to Knock. And I said that movie is very, very underrated. Some people think that Marilyn Monroe is overrated. I said that because when you are playing a sex symbol, when you present yourself as a sex symbol, it's very hard to do other characters. But Don't Bother to Knock came out when she was 26 years old. But so she must did it when she was 24 years old. And it's about mental illness. And she was phenomenal. I don't think anybody could do that, especially at that age. They
I
may
think
think they
later
can.
in the years, her talent and skills were more diminished by by her persona as
Right, right.
as
As a
a
sex symbol, but
sex symbol and Hollywood star. And I think the problem as years went on is I think people probably didn't understand and didn't know who she was before she became a star. And I believe at times some of the work you do as an actor or an actress as time goes
hmm
on, if you become well known, there's a choice you make. You're going to either go down the path of just doing whatever's marketable, or you're going to stick to the art. And
well,
unfortunately, sometimes people do work that just doesn't show off their talents and skills enough.
to me, don't forget, in those days, the studio owned you. You do what they tell you to do. You don't have a
That's right.
choice. You don't have a choice like now. But the thing is, like being a sex symbol is more marketable and it's easier to get jobs.
Absolutely.
And that's what
But you bring up a good point. So back in the day, the studio would sign you to a contract, and then whatever that
they
contract
own
was
you.
for
No,
four
they
years,
own
yeah,
you. Yep.
you do whatever they tell you to do. And I think that probably stifled careers back in the day. I
hmm
believe that. I think
hmm
with her, it definitely probably did not do her just, because my point of it is she's a wonderful actress. Watching that movie, I really saw something different from her that I never saw. And it's unfortunate that as time went on, I believe her skills were not in the spotlight anymore.
Right. Just like if you see when I first saw Don't Bother to Knock, I was like, oh my God. I was in shock. You should see that. Have you seen
Okay.
that yet?
It's probably been a long time.
Yeah. Don't
So
Bother
I
to
need
Knock.
to
Yeah.
catch up. I need to catch up on some of her movies because it's
She
been a
yeah,
long
she
time.
played a mentally ill babysitter. And it was like the acting was very, very natural. It's like she doesn't overreact being crazy because sometimes when you play someone who's crazy, they tend to be overreact. She did. She kept everything under the radar. She kept everything really cool and it was phenomenal. Like not too many people saw that movie. Just like Jane Mansfield, even they said that her daughter even said that once you play a sex symbol, it's very hard to go back. And nobody noted her IQ like 160, 165, and she played the violin really well. She's also a musician.
Yeah, it's a good point. Once you do play more of a sex symbol, I don't. It's hard. It's going to be hard to be accepted
As anything
by
else. Yeah.
anything. Yeah, by anything other than being a sex symbol. So,
But
um,
it's very difficult to be, as you know, to be in this business. So if I were her, I would do the same. If I
Well,
were
yeah, and
both
I
of
would
them.
too. I mean, we're in the business of stereotyping, right? So you're
Yes.
stereotyped usually, and you do what you do. Your action, your drama, your comedy, your horror, your sex symbol, whatever you are. I mean, you get typecast, and that's your brand. Everything is a brand. We're all products that are marketed. Some marketed better than others, right? So if anybody wants to market me, I am available. Chris Sloan, come and market me. I'll be whatever you want me to be. I'll be a sex symbol. I'll open my shirt up a little bit, Tiffany. I'll be a little bit more of a sex symbol. I'll be serious. I'll be funny. I'll be whatever you want me to be. Just pay me, please.
Of course. And I'll do the same
Just
too.
pay me. Okay, we got a few minutes left. I wanted to do
Okay.
something for a minute or two. Word association game. I'm going to give you a word and you tell me the first word that pops into your head. Only one word that pops into your head. Okay,
Have to
it's
be
like a game
easy.
show.
Yeah, make it easy. And then maybe we should do a
Okay,
little meditation, calm to calm everything down. It's hot outside.
okay, so meditate for about 15 seconds.
Okay. Now?
You ready?
Yes.
While you were meditating, I was like fixing my shirt. Okay, here we go, Tiffany. The first word fear,
Scare.
future,
Far.
word,
Dictionary.
love.
Ooh. Scandalous.
I like that one. Okay, last one life.
Fulfill.
Wow, very well done. Very well done. We'll do some more words next week. Now um we were gonna have some guests on that weren't able to join.
Right,
So
but
maybe perhaps next week we could have
well,
them.
next week we have another guest, and then maybe the week afterward, the guest that come today can come.
So our guest
That's
next week, our official guest is,
Thanh Lan.
and what is she going to talk about?
Her new book called Sleepless.
Sleepless. Looking forward to talking with her about her book, Sleepless. And then we may have other guests as well.
Yes, probably afterwards. We'll see.
Okay. I'm looking forward to it. Well, um, stay cool. It's hot.
Yes, it
We're
is.
in summer now. And
Oof.
relax, use less energy, stay in the shade, and you'll be ready then for next week.
Exactly.
And in the
Thank
meantime,
you.
we'll go to that club nearby your home.
Yes,
That
yeah.
could be the future fetishes lounge.
Yes. Okay, you should come
Okay.
over sometimes. Anyway, I would like to end the show. Filter 90211. I'm Tiffany Rothman with my wonderful and amazing co host, Chris Sloan.